Hey, Stoney here with another game of Mechabellum, and in this game you'll see the power of steel balls and how it currently plays in the meta. Alright, let's go. What's happening? Wait, what is this? 1,000 subscribers? Are you kidding me? Hey, Stoney here. I just want to say thank you for supporting this channel. When I started this back in June, I had no idea so many of you will watch me ramble about Mechabellum. And here we are, 1,000 strong. Your likes, your comments, and of course your shares are like the range to my Mustangs, the shield to my fangs, and the fire to my Stormcallers. But seriously though, I couldn't have done this without you. It is not easy to start a YouTube channel, and it's even harder to try to have a consistent schedule and provide you with videos every single day. So thank you very much. And if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, well, you know what to do. So enough about me. Let's get back into the game. At the bottom here, I am playing as a aerial specialist, starting with steel balls and fans, and I am up against Sparty, playing as a giant specialist, starting with Stonecallers and Crawlers. This is a 1800 MMR game. And right off the bat, I was in a bit of a trouble, because when you're running into Stonecallers, especially when they have them on both sides, which 95% of the time they will two-shot your steel balls if they get stuck fighting their chaff. And for round one is a bit rough because you don't have any chaff clear, so you want to make sure that you're able to get to the tower before the Stonecallers gun down all of your steel balls. And the only sensible way to go about it is just to have your units on one side. His units are very slow, your units very fast, so the more power you can put onto the one side, the more successful you're likely to be. Alright, so this is actually excellent position by Sparty, just having a vertical fan sticking out very far into the middle, because what it does is it forces all my units to converge to that point. And this is also a technique that you can use in other setups of the game. So for example, if you have your opponent's units kind of spread out on both sides near the tower, and you want to get them towards the middle. For example, you want to put down some fire, just put a vertical fang like right against the line, and that would draw the units towards the center. Alright, not doing terrible. I think I wasn't expecting to win this round, so pretty happy with the result. Alright, reinforcement. A lot of very interesting cards. Mass-produced overlords is very tempting, because one of the problems with a steel ball crawler push is that you don't have any chaff clear and you don't have any anti-air. So mass-produced overlords could potentially solve both of those problems, but my overlords, I do not run high explosive ammo, which would have been excellent for chaff clear. So probably not the best choice for now, and instead opting for the Wraith. Wraith ball is quite strong because Wraith, once you get range, it has a wide area of coverage, effectively clearing out anything that's in front of the balls. And then once the balls latch onto anything that's behind it, the game usually ends right there. So let's try with this Wraith ball setup. I've also added a crawler right there in the middle so that I can deflect a little bit of whatever is coming down this side, because I was a little scared of Sparty just putting down crawlers and start rushing my tower. Now you may wonder, why didn't I just put something here at the tower or something on this side? The reason I didn't do that is because I still want most of Sparty's army on the left to move towards the middle. So if I have units down here or even behind the tower, that changes their aggro radius, then forces them to go to this tower, which is something I don't want. I want something that coming late, and as the units are making their way towards the center, I am able to deflect them a little better. Okay, round 2 Wraith. Pretty good tempo move. Caught my opponent by surprise. Alright, unit drop. Let's talk about it. So, Arclights makes a lot of sense for my board. Marksman makes a lot of sense maybe for my opponent's boards. The reason Arclight makes a lot of sense is because I am currently playing aggro, so most of my units are on the line. Arclights with range could potentially cover all this area without having to move too far, right? And because when you're playing Steel Ball, like, the theme of Steel Ball is chaff clear. If you cannot clear the chaff, then your Steel Balls are useless. If you can clear the chaff, then your Steel Balls are invincible. So the more types of chaff clear units I have, the better. So Arclight makes a lot of sense. For my opponent, the reason I said Marksman makes a lot of sense is because from that unit pack, there's two things that can be used, right? There's Marksman, and then there is the Melting Point. Melting Points are a bit slow when it comes to Steel Balls, especially if the balls get leveled. Marksmans are great because, one, they're in level 3, which means right now they are effectively one-shotting my my Steel Balls. And also, I have a Wraith, and I just picked up range on this Wraith, which means this Wraith is going to be very powerful. Marksman can simply go for the aerial spec and not take care of any of the Wraith threats. And not to mention that I am aerial specialist, so it is very good for my opponent to be prepared for something like that. My units do hit a little bit harder than a regular specialist. On my side of the board, I added the Arclights, I added another set of Steel Balls, and my opponent just continued to chop up. Right? He understands that the only thing that's stopping my Steel Balls from leveling and from just spiraling out of control is chaff. If he can figure out how to stall my Steel Balls, as you can see right now, his units, his Stormcallers, his Marksmen can shoot them from safety, and he'll never have to worry about them. Now, unfortunately, my Wraith is just a little too strong here, and is still going to take the game just by being a Wraith. Round 4 reinforcement. Heavy armor is great on Steel Ball. Nano is also excellent on Steel Ball. I took the Nano because I have a Wraith, and for the time being, it's going to provide a lot more value on this Wraith. And that is until my opponent hit the aerial spec on the Marksman. And now you can see just how powerful that tech is. I think in my previous video, I talk about if you're running Marksman, you should always have aerial spec. I've had my doubts about it before. At sometimes I actually ran double shot instead of aerial spec, because in my mind I was like, that makes they're almost equal in damage adjustment, right? Double shot doubles your damage for a little bit of speed drop for your fire rate, and double shot is able to use that for both ground and air units. But what I didn't realize is the extra 30 meters of range, prioritizing the air units over the ground units, and how useful that is. Because right now, as you can see, yeah, I have crawlers running towards my opponent, right? I have Steel Balls running towards my opponent. But as soon as that initial wave of units gets cleared, right now they're still kind of get stuck here. This Marksman should be able to turn to the Wraith. And with the aerial spec, that is a whole lot of damage. There it is. One Marksman aiming. I mean, yes, I got Nano, but no, that's 3 shots away from being dead. So very good round for my opponent. And of course, as you can see on my side of the board, once I don't have chaff clear, my Steel Balls become so weak because they get stuck on firing individual units. Incendiary is a great card. My opponent took Incendiary, knowing that most of my units are going to walk through them anyways. I took Mobile Beacon. It is offered, and I was going to need that anyways. And why not get it from the unit drop instead of getting from the tower? Because now I have the option of getting second Mobile Beacon if I wanted to. I expected my opponent to incendiary right at the front, so I moved a whole pack of my units over to the other side. And this is interesting. My opponent added the item on 2 packs of fangs, now with range. So these guys are pretty jacked for a chaff unit. But the problem with that, though, right now there's nothing in front of them, which means my Arclight can just walk over and start shooting at this one. This Arclight can start shooting at this one, and that's a lot of experience too, right? Level 2 fans can help Arclight level a lot. And once my Arclight levels, then I also have the option of going Elite Marksman, so then they can contribute both to chaff clear, but also killing other units. Alright, my opponent added Arclights of his own. He realizes that my crawlers are just a little too much for the fans to deal with. That is understandable. And it just continues to add on the chaff. Alright, now with the fire, my Wraith is in trouble. It's going to get locked on fairly quickly after this initial wave of balls dissipates. This Arclight is stuck on shooting the shield, but it did get it with the help of steel balls and a Wraith. But there's just not enough units at the later stage of the round to clear out these marksmen. So I have to figure out a way to get through the chaff a little bit sooner. Alright, we got another reinforcement. Range spec is interesting for my opponent. Underground is not too terrible. I already have so many crawlers, so I might as well start upgrading them and start dropping underground. Now, I was deciding where I want to drop the underground. I could have it here, but then it'll be under fire by this Arclight. There's no Arclight here yet. My opponent might put an Arclight here, but so far there's nothing. But he does have a level 2 crawler, which means if I do drop underground with replicate, and if he has replicate, I'm essentially feeding crawlers to my opponent. So how do you beat a level 2 crawler with a pack of level 1 crawlers? Well, you get impact drill, which more than doubles its damage, allowing it to contest that effectively. And the reason you'll win against this one, if both of you have replicate, is that when his unit kills your units, they produce level 1 crawlers, and their level 1 crawlers are far weaker than your level 1 crawlers now with impact drill. So you'll win that one. It's still close though, because we got some mech rage, ranged fans shooting at his crawlers, but as you can see, it's tying up this entire squad and it might just win. Alright, replicate is going to work really well at the front. My steel balls are getting in. They are on target against this marksman. I don't know if they'll kill. Yes, they will. But here's the biggie, right? We get the tower, and once you get the tower with the crawler ball composition, nothing can stop it. And this is when things get a little scary, right? Steel balls at level 1, they're okay. They're not scary at all. But once they get to level 2 and level 3, they essentially become mini giants. They're very hard to kill. My opponent took the fortress here. And for me, I think Fire Badger makes the most sense. Because remember, right, the whole theme of Steel Ball push is chaff clear. You get your chaff cleared, and then your Steel Ball can clear everything else. I took range on the Steel Balls because I needed to keep them a little bit safer. And also, they don't have to travel as far. My opponent took the fortress and added 2 more, which I think make a lot of sense. Fortress, when they're 1 level ahead, can actually pop a steel ball with 1 shot. Actually, no, you know what? I was wrong. Fortress can pop a steel ball of equal level. Level 1 fortress, level 1 steel ball, can pop that just fine. And they kind of have to, because if they don't pop the steel ball in 1 shot, then I could get energy absorption. And by the time he's ready for the second shot, the steel ball would have already healed all the way back to full health. So then these fortresses would just be stuck in shooting at steel balls and never kill anything. So not a great thing. We both got oil this turn. The reason for me to get oil is because I have Fire Badgers and I want to get this line here so that his units would burn out. And he got oil because I have Fire Badgers. and he wanted to bait me into burning everything. So we end up getting oil at the same spot. It's really bad for me because I don't have any shields, so that just means my steel balls are extremely exposed. And this level 2, I mean, just watching them one-shotting, right? If they can one-shot, then you're in a world of hurt. Alright, I got 2 steel balls left. I think I'll get tower. I might even get one of the fortresses. Probably not, though. If I get lucky, yes. Otherwise, no. No, I won't get that fortress. Which is too bad. Alright. M-Core. Excellent units on a pack of steel balls. Makes them doing twice the damage. M-Core was recently changed a little bit. So right now is... It used to be just 100% damage. I think... No, actually no. I was thinking of fire... improved fire control system. So M-Core does the... where is it? 50% increase in damage and 50% increase in HP, which is excellent for steel ball because the more HP it has, especially with energy absorption, the longer they will survive. I double tech my steel balls this turn because I noticed that my opponent is going with forts and I need to out-level the forts. If I can out-level the forts, then I can stay always out-leveled, one level ahead of the forts, which means they cannot one-shot me. So I took the armor enhancement as well as energy absorption. Armor enhancement grants it 30% more health. It blocks the damage from these small units. And because I see my opponents going carry fans, so it can actually be very effective. But my opponent's really smart. Sparty is a great player. And he took double shot. Double shot is kind of a hedge. In case your balls do out-level your opponent, double shot ensures that it can still take care of your steel balls even if it's one level ahead. Alright, my balls are moving in. Ooh, this level 2 fortress, it just continued to one-shot my balls, preventing it from killing it and getting that precious experience. This is a great tower capture, which means now some of my balls can turn around. But this is a level 2 fortress. Level 2 fortress deals 20,000 damage against a level... Where's my steel ball? Nope, it's just one-shotting my steel balls, and I am unable to bring it down this turn. So that's another big round. So it's just been 2 rounds my opponent has won with fortresses left over, and that's going to bring my HP down to just above 600. Extended range fortress is offered. I really think that will be a great card for my opponent because that allows the fortress to really just start dishing out the damage a lot sooner. The 30% decrease, I don't know if it matters that much because I am running steel balls, and once the balls are charged up, that extra 30% amounts to about an extra 1.5 seconds of living longer, so it doesn't matter too much. Fire is off cooldown. There's nothing I can do about it with this position because I can't shield this fire. I'll just have to suck it up and get my balls running through the fire. Last round, I almost won, so I figured, hey, if I get more steel balls, because right now, he doesn't have enough fortresses for every pack of my steel balls. So I figured if I get more steel balls, maybe I have a better chance. And also with the crawlers, because right now these are mega crawlers with replicate, impact drill, and now mech rage, so they're going to run super fast. They're going to get to this fan super fast. They're going to replicate, and they're going to overwhelm my opponent while my balls deal the damage to these fortresses. The problem, though, is the right side because of the fire. There's a very good chance that my right side just folds almost immediately, which means my left side has to carry the weight for this round. Alright, looking at my opponent, I think it just continues to leveling up, continues to add even more fans, but at this point I'm not sure how good these fans are. I will probably just spend more money on fortresses, or maybe even going air. Air is one thing that I haven't really responded to, and I was really afraid that's something that my opponent would do. Like, if my opponent has gone air this round with just like 2 overlords, I have no answer for him. And with only 600 HP, that would have been a 1 game. So sometimes when you're playing this sort of game, so yeah, it looks pretty intense on the ground. It looks like, you know, you're about to fold because my steel balls are getting level. But you have to look at the game in this grander scale, right? You're here not to win the round. You're here to win the game. You don't need to win the ground fight because I have no anti-air, and if you're able to get 2 overlords, you can win this whole game. But he didn't, so now we're into another round. Phoenix is offered. It covers the single weakness of my board, which is anti-air, so I immediately pick the Phoenix. I also noticed that these double shot fortresses, they're doing a ton of damage, and since I already have range arc lights, I'm just gonna take EM on the arc lights. Personally, I think arc light EM is probably the best. Some people may challenge me on that and say, oh yeah, Marksman, Phoenix, these EMs are so good because they shoot so far away. But with those units, the problem with that is, one, they're not going to be plentiful. You're not going to have as many of those units as you have with arc lights because these are your chaff clear. And two, because those other units aren't chaff clear, they might waste a lot of shots on chaff, whereas the arc lights, they would just clear the chaff and tap onto these large units. Just give it a simple tap and they're disabled. So I think this is a pretty decent technology. I didn't used to run this. I think it used to have armor in this slot, so I can do something cheeky like having an armor arc light here in the flank to draw all the chaff over. But recently I switched that out because I really enjoy playing some aggro games, even though I'm really terrible at it. And it's helped out a lot. Alright, my opponent took the Scorpions with Acid. It's a logical decision because Scorpion with Acid allows them to deal even more damage to my steel balls once they're stuck in the acid. But I do have Suck, and Scorpions, they are considered kind of a mini giant, which is not going to be great against my balls once they latch on, right? And they fire so slow. So I don't know if that would have been a right choice. But given the situation and the circumstance, I don't think there was a better unit choice. He could have picked Phoenix, right? Phoenix is not terrible. And that's a huge round for me. Ooh, that's a huge round, bringing my opponent all the way down to 188. It's just 1 round away. Bombard is offered. Bombard is a great card for the both of us, more so for my opponent because he has these shield bubbles, which means I'm going to have to shield everything on my side of the board. Now, at this point, I think my board is pretty much undefeated because of the high-level steel balls. I mean, look at this guy here. Level 5 steel ball, 77,000 HP per unit. So that means one of my steel ball is now the HP of a level 2 fortress. So think of these 4 steel balls are just 4 fortresses running towards you at 16 meters a second. Getting latch on is able to suck your life and tank everything. That's what this looks like. 4 level 2 fortresses. Yeah, pretty scary. So it's going to be a double ability here. It's going to get oil and it's going to get bombard. Oil holds my stuff down. Bombard does bombard things. I have to shield because I have no idea what that bombard is going to be. And I also had the oil off cooldown, except it's not really good for me to put it at the front. So I decided let's just stop these crawlers from moving too fast so that I can get to these fortresses before the crawlers arrive. Alright. One thing I need to point out is that I have fully upgraded my tower. The level 2 towers are expensive. They're 300 supplies apiece. But I think it's worth it, especially with steel balls. With energy absorption, the more HP you can give to the steel balls, the better. Because then they can just suck everything back, right? As long as they're not dying, they don't die, they can just suck everything back. And it seems to be working, right? Because once you have a steel ball latch onto a fortress, it doesn't matter if they have double shot. It doesn't matter if they, as long as they're not one-shotting your steel balls going to get to that fortress. And with that, that is a great game. So good job, Sparty, for giving me making me sweat there for a couple of rounds with these very well-placed fortresses. But I think once the steel balls gets too many levels, and once I was able to disable the tech, it really becomes a difficult board to play against. Well, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I got another one that's even better. Check it out, and I'll see you on the next one.
Prepare your tactics. Mechabellum's calling. Deploy your fortress. The battlefield's alive with swarms.